Welcome to Emblem Interviews, where I dive deep with everyday people to uncover the extraordinary within their lives, minds, and souls. Along the way, we'll often pull up their birth charts to explore what's truly happening beneath the surface. Together, we'll uncover the stories created here on Earth and examine their cosmic reflection written in the stars. So, just going to welcome Lara
Okay.
Valente, a dear friend, a fellow neighbor. We used to work together. I just kind of fell in love with your presence and your personality and your energy. I think really drew me to you and draws people to you in general, is what I've noticed.
Yeah, that's
So you are so based on your birth chart, you're born in Brazil.
right.
So tell me how long you lived in Brazil and
Yeah,
your story.
sure. Yeah. So I'm from Brazil. My parents are from, my whole family's from Brazil. I was born there and we immigrated to the United States in 1989 when I was 10 years old. And we've been here ever since. I go back very infrequently, since I started having kids a little over 11 years ago. Haven't been able to go back. It's just hard to travel. It's a really long flight. My hometown is called Recife. It's on the northeast coast of Brazil. And only recently have they started having direct flights from the States. So it's always like a very long 20 hours of transit. So it's just not something that has happened in the last like 12, 13 years. But my whole family is there. And we moved up here as me, my mom, and my brother.
Um, so I know you lost your brother some years back. I know
Yeah.
that's a difficult thing for you. Do your kids ask to go to Brazil or ask about?
Yeah, she's really embraced like her half Brazilian heritage, and she did a poem for school a couple years back that talked about like the beaches in her blood. It was like so sweet, and like that she was born.
Just
It was, yeah, like we want to take her there, talking about winter of 26 going as a whole family.
do it. Oh, that's awesome.
And it's nice to see like my cousins and my aunts and uncles, and it's just like the food and yeah.
Right. That's so important. Yeah, my mom and sister live in Hawaii now, and we're not from there. We're from Northern California, but my kids want to go there.
I would go there too.
But I mean, it's a long trip. And of course, yes, bringing the
The-
whole family. Mm-hmm. It's
yeah,
hard,
it is.
but it gives you a destination and something to work towards and a different culture to dive into and draw from. And so I know you're a cook. Do you do a catering thing?
So I started out in the restaurant industry. My very first job when I was like 14 was Subway, but we won't count that. I started working in like real service restaurants when I was 17 years old, and I was, a busser, wait assistant, and I kind of fell in love with the industry. I was a hostess, a dishwasher, a bar back, a bartender, a waitress, and then a manager, and then a general manager. I also, in the middle of all that, went to culinary school. I was a pastry chef. I was a line cook. Like, I did a lot of stuff. I did personal chef work. I ran a catering company. So I've done so much in the food world.
Do you draw any Brazilian roots into your cooking and cook traditional food for your family?
No, the ingredients are really difficult to source here.
Mm.
Brazilian cooking is really different than the rest of Latin and South America. It's less, there are beans like feijoada, but there's a lot of Afro Portuguese mixed into the native cooking. And it is like where I'm from, Recife being in the northeast coast, that's where the original port of Brazil was in. So there's a huge kind of like mix of cuisine of African, Portuguese, and then Brazilian. So a lot of the up until recently, you really couldn't get a lot of the ingredients like dende oil, different flours like cassava, etc. So as of late, we've gotten to do a couple of things, but the flavors I try to kind of mimic in some cooking, the lots of spices, fresh herbs, like having all hitting all the notes of like savory, salty, acidic, etc. Just like making sure everything is like
Your family is lucky.
weirdly I don't cook as much anymore.
Well, you happen to be a little bit busy. I mean, not only a mom, but yes. So you and lovely Tiffany opened Dandelion Fiber.
Right?
I was so happy to see that, and especially even that spot. That store's been was there. The previous store was there so long, and just seeing,
Years.
wow, oh my gosh, wow.
And the and prior to LaRue's that was in that space was Apple Drug, which was there from when the building was built in like 1908 or something.
Oh my gosh,
So
wow.
I'm there, so we hope we like catch a little bit of that and stay there forever.
Definitely, for sure. So I didn't realize that you knitted, crocheted, and so were you guys just like hanging out one day and you're like, we should own a shop.
Like I started knitting when I was 19. I always loved like I learned to sew when I was 16. I was always like obsessed with clothes and like always wanted to like it was always into art when I was younger. So I always wanted to be a fashion designer when I was a kid. And so I was really drawn to like making my own things. And my mom is not like that at all. So my friend Liz, her mom taught me how to sew, and I kind of took off with it. And I taught myself how to knit. It was in the 90s. There was no internet really, so it was like through books. And I kind of just picked it up, and like people made fun of me, this little punk kid knitting, but I really enjoyed it, and I made funky scarves and sweaters and was really into it and had never met anyone else my age that knit that was sort of like into the same things as me until I met Tiffany. Like I realized she knit, and then we were like, it was just like another thing that drew us together. We have a lot in common. And as we started getting older and COVID hit, we were both sort of disenchanted with the restaurant industry. I kind of like fell out of love with the industry. I sort of saw that there was no kind of graceful aging or family growth in that industry and decided that I needed to sort of step away from that path, begrudgingly, because I did really love everything about restaurant and food and that kind of love that it brings. So I took a break and helped my beautiful friend Erin Flavin open Marigold. So it really and it was very busy, and it was a lot of kind of back end work for me because I did her operations and purchasing and sort of setting everything up. So it was a really good like deep dive into retail. And I knew kind of while I was doing that I wanted to do my own thing. And me and Tiff had been talking about like, let's open a yarn store. Like there's nothing in town that is like veers towards a younger audience. Like everything does lean a little bit older, which is natural. Um, those shops were younger ones, so like there just didn't feel like there was a spot for our aesthetic and for other people like us, so we were like the yarns and everything that we were drawn to, we couldn't find locally. So we sort of had this moment where we were like, why are we going to wait? Let's do it now. And we sort of went all in and kind of bet everything financially into opening this business.
Wow. Well, I know it. I mean, people love it.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a, I'm a little envious because you're like in our town on the corner and people can stop in and you drive by. I drive by it all the time, like, oh, there's their shop. Where I'm like kind of out on the outskirts. I'm like, but I mean, I love my space too. It's my
Yeah.
little treehouse here. But yeah, it's really nice just driving by and just being like, hey guys.
To be like customer facing too, to
Mhm.
like have these experiences with people where they're coming in, like instead of the restaurant industry, you're still having these conversations and people are coming in, but they're coming in to be creative and to make something. That's really like a great feeling. And just
That's so cool.
coming in to feel rejuvenated and to like,
So you guys do like a movie night and different workshops and everything. Tell me about your movie nights.
yeah. We were really like one of the things we really wanted to be part of Dandelion's legacy is building community, especially right now. It really feels like we need each other in these kind of difficult, strange times. And so we wanted to really bring people together and be really inclusive and make everyone feel welcome. So we rent out alongside Harriet and Alice, which is another yarn store located in Edina. We rent out the Edina Theater once a month and play a movie. And the lights are left on and people can sit and knit and watch a movie together. And it's so fun.
That's so awesome. It makes me want to learn how to knit, but
I
my
mean,
grandmother knitted.
people come and just watch the movie.
I should. I mean, yeah, we got that one little piece for Lily and her little like needle and some thread. I'll just bring that.
And you can just poke it and pretend the whole time. Yep.
I'm making something.
Like be like knitting in a movie and it's like,
This is going well. I can hand sew. I don't even
oh,
know my way around a sewing machine, but I can sew by hand.
there you go. Bring like clothes to mend and you can sit and we're gonna do Life Aquatic next
Life Aquatic.
with Steve Zissou. It's a Wes Anderson film.
Oh yeah, I've never. Oh no, I have seen that. Is Bill Murray in that?
Yep.
Okay.
It's really good.
I've seen that. That's right. It's been a while.
Yep.
That is a good one.
Like Jacques Cousteau kind of
Yeah.
he plays Jacques Cousteau kind of character.
Was I talking to Tiffany, I think, and she mentioned you were coming up with an idea for a book club.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, yes, she should do that.
So we, during the pandemic, I've always been like a voracious reader. I love to read. I read every day. I read to go to bed at night. Like I love to read ever since I was a teenager. I love stories, and I always was like a huge literature freak. Like love Steinbeck, like loved all of these like high fantasy books and all the stuff. And then COVID hit, and I was like, I need brain candy, and I started reading fairy smut.
Yep.
It's good. It's good. It's definitely made life more interesting.
Fairy smut.
And I wanted to start a book club and call it the Nitty Gritty.
That's amazing. You just have to do it because of the name.
There's so many women out there who are reading these books, and it's like so fun. And it's so fun to get these book recommendations and meet different people who like these books and like talking about it. And there's like a little group we got on Instagram with some other like knitters, but they're all over the country. And you can definitely like tell who's like just delving in, and then the people who are like this one person's like, well, how about a book without smut? And everyone's like, no, it's the smut book.
I did pick up the Sarah Moss like Court of Thorn
Yeah,
and Roses
that's
series.
fine for everyone.
Yeah, that because I've never really been into it, but I mean I do like fantasy and like the dragons and the fairies
Yeah,
and all that stuff is super fun.
Thrones books,
Yes, I should read those.
so good.
Okay.
But if you've seen the series, it's kind of hard to do the books because they did the series so well until that last season.
Okay.
So it's basically just like watching the show. They did such a job.
Oh wow. That's kind of cool to know. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because I like went to California last summer when I was reading that Sarah Moss series, and I saw like a young man walking through like I was in like Tahoe in like a casino with one under his arm, and like some lady here or there with another one. I'm like, oh my gosh, these books are everywhere. And then Sierra started asking about them. My 11-year-old daughter, she was like, "What's that series with the bright color?" I'm like, I brought them to the bookstore yesterday and sold them. Like these have got to get out of that.
Yeah, that's like she's like Hunger Games age.
Yeah, she needs some fun stories that are like adventurous, but they don't go there. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. There'll be plenty of time for that later.
Well, if you do the nitty gritty, I'm there.
We'll get you reading some fun books. Like fun.
Yes, that's
yeah.
So I did want to talk about your chart as well. So I can pull it up here because I mean, you gave me your info a while back and I
Yeah.
started, writing it out. And then I was like, wait, I should just find a time and bring her on here.
It was funny. I never, I had my natal chart read. It was a birthday gift from my good friend Holly a few years back, and it was so insightful and so like
Hmm.
it made me kind of understand myself a little bit more, and also some aspects I was like, if this was written in the stars, this kind of sucks, like death and my family and stuff like that. Because between my brother and my father, I lost them both, and so I was like, I don't need that to be in my birth chart, like
It's, I like to think of astrology as, it's like this is, I get this from my teacher, but he's made the analogy of it's like a clock. Like you can't blame the clock for the time.
yeah, nope, yeah,
So it it shows a reflection, and sometimes it's cool to just go back in time and look at the transits that we're hitting, and you can just be like, oh, there it is. And you find it's kind of like validation, and it's kind of, it makes you feel a part of the cosmos instead of just because we get so stuck and we just in our bubble and the world feels difficult.
yeah,
But when it's, you see this happening in the sky at the same time, it kind of, it gives me a little relief in a way. Like,
yeah.
um I don't know the rhyme or reason, but it seems like there must be something.
You know, I joke often. It's like you can't be this interesting without the trauma, right? You need a little spiciness in there.
I tell my kids they need more problems to overcome because they have it too easy. You don't know suffering.
No, oh my God. I know you've had some suffering in your life with your pops and
Yeah, well, I think it made me definitely stronger.
yeah, again, can't be interesting without a little spiciness, without a little trauma. To do with less, right? Like be able to live with less, to not take so much stock into material things and into, stuff, right? To be appreciative of the life you've achieved when you've been in more difficult places.
100%. You don't take things for granted. You don't take these little moments as much for granted with loved ones, with your friends, and even just like having running water. It's like I
Yeah,
need a warm shower in the morning. Some people do not have this. And
it's
yeah, every
it's
time I go camping, I remember that.
I always equate like I feel like I've made it in life if I can fill my gas tank and not have to think about it.
I love that.
To me, that is like I'm okay. Like I can fill up my gas tank and I don't have to like
It doesn't stress you out.
yeah, and that was not the case,
Mm-hmm.
for
Nope,
a long time.
I get that. I remember when I first started microblading years ago and I was making like kind of my own money. And I was like, oh, I want to buy this sweater. I can buy this sweater. It's not gonna like, I'm not taking from someone, or it's just like I can afford it. And I don't know. It was like a really good feeling.
Yeah, totally.
All right. So, Miss Leo Rising. Does this look correct? All the info, April 7th. I know it's kind of small.
Yep, that is right.
Okay, so I think probably one of the reasons people in general, but definitely myself, I'm drawn to this Leo ascendant. Plus, you have the moon there, right conjunct your ascendant, which I think just amplifies, I feel like you as a presence. The moon really represents our environment, what we're surrounded by, and our emotions. And even the neighborhood, and people might project onto you what they're going through, but they also see probably what they love and how they feel at home. And I just feel like as a Leo too, you might kind of emanate that warmth. That's kind of how I read that. Is there any? Do you have questions about your chart or things that are going on that you kind of?
No, I mean, I'm curious. I had a question because I followed Chani
Oh,
and
yes. I
and
know.
she's talking about everything in Cancer for the next year is really gonna like be plentiful. So I wanted you to talk to me about what is in my Cancer.
Okay, so you have Cancer in the 12th, which is the hidden house, the subconscious. It's where we store kind of our fears, but what's brewing behind the scenes too. So Jupiter will be moving out of your 11th house, out of Gemini, into Cancer. So Jupiter is the planet which you already have natally in your 12th house in Cancer. Jupiter is the planet of usually good luck, fortune, in general, but kind of it's this magnanimous planet, I guess you could say. It's the big protector planet. It protects us from space debris, but it's Thor. It's like the big strong god that creates order
Okay.
and in all of the utopian ways. So when you have a Jupiter transit, generally, and maybe you're having another harder transit, maybe like there's a Mars transit as well. The Jupiter usually, if it's involved, will make it so that hard transit isn't as bad. That was a close one, or things like that. It makes things big. They call it the planet of expansion. Some people say when it's in your ascendant sign, which is like the body, you can gain weight. So
And
Cancer is my rising sign, so once it comes in, have to watch my sweets and stuff. But maybe if I start working out, my muscles will get bigger. So it makes things bigger.
the gym right there.
I mean, right out my door. You'd think I'd use it more.
Oh, I mean, I have a gym in my basement I never use.
It's hard. But so I mean, Mars was just making its way back and forth through Cancer. It just got into Leo a few days ago and finally got out of Cancer. It was here for months, since like, is it January? So that might have been you subconsciously processing things, kind of getting rid of some stuff in there that you don't need anymore, that doesn't serve you anymore. And now Jupiter's gonna move in here, and I feel like so Jupiter has been in Gemini. That's my 12th house. And I feel like I've had some really interesting dreams. I feel like I've been going on some internal journeys, kind of into like my ancestry a little bit, like what I was born with, what I came into this life with, already kind of pre programmed, and looking at it and getting to let it go. Usually, the 12th house you can't really see, but I feel like Jupiter lights it up a bit and helps you get to process some of it. And after having Mars there, kind of cutting, severing out some old stuff, bringing Jupiter in, I think will give you new things to build from. And it might show you fears that you have, internal fears to get through. But if we don't see them, we can't grow past them. So I feel like it's a good natal placement in general, but definitely transit wise. Let me see when it will be hitting your natal Jupiter. I'm going to bring in the current transits. It's here. So I go by weeks.
Yeah, I think was it they were saying June, right? Maybe.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, yep, starting June 11th about, and then Jupiter always will do, so it'll be their full year.
Awesome.
So right before it hits your natal Jupiter, he slows down, starts to retrograde, travel back through some of this area to re-go over some of that stuff, and then goes out next July.
Okay.
So yeah.
Would be some time to like conquer fears and
Yeah, just to self-examine. The 12th house can be, I one astrologer lady that I follow likes to talk about foreign commerce and foreign income from foreign shores as well being 12th house ruled.
that's my yarn. Do a lot of yarn.
Perfect. I mean, those types of things might kind of be blessed a little bit by Jupiter there. Um, so let's see. And natally, Jupiter rules your um, house. Yeah. So your house of creativity, children, what you're passionate about, having some fun. So those themes might come up as well. And then also your eighth house. So that's shared resources. They call that the house of death and taxes, kind of too. But it's on this financial axis with the second house. So, second house is your income, uh, and the money that you make and that sustains you, even food we eat, what supports us physically. And then the eighth house is how we partner with others and their resources.
That's
Karmic.
full.
Huh?
That house is really full.
Yeah, I mean, I have the asteroids up right now, so that brings in some other themes. But and the moon will travel away, let's see, soon, but that's where the moon is right now. Saturn, though, has spent some time there. Venus just left that house. She was also, she just retrograded from Aries, your ninth, back into the eighth, and now is taking off again to go back into Aries. The Aries house in everyone's chart has seen a lot and will see a lot. So Neptune spends 14-ish years or so in each house and or each sign. I guess it ranges depending on the sign, but Neptune just moved into Aries. Saturn's about to join Neptune there. Venus and Mercury both got here, came back, went back. So there's been a lot of action in these karmic houses. The ninth house is the house of foreign shores, but also higher education, God, higher mind, where you put your faith. So Neptune entering that house too, I mean, you might delve more into astrology or, an education in something that's, I don't know, just another level. You might be drawn to kind of higher minded things since there's so much action there for you. Neptune can be the planet of imagination, um, illusions, delusions, but also dreams and kind of what we yeah, just creativity in our mind. And then Saturn comes in and can help make it a reality. So
Love that.
yeah, so and then having Venus there going back and forth, just kind of wrapping up some stuff in this area. Um, Yeah, it just shows like a lot of evolution in that area. So,
When we came into the space, we had my friend Alice come and we did like a blessing of the space and like,
wow.
talking about like what we envision and what we want. And the whole thing was like, we don't want like plentifulness. Like we want to like make a living and be happy, right? Like we don't want to strike it rich. We just want to like be able to make this work and have this be our livelihood and something that we both really love.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I feel like that theme has come up just in the last number of years as we see more billionaires and things like that. But we just want to live a healthy life and be able to provide for our children and have community. And I mean, I even tell my kids, like, Sierra's like, I want $1 billion. Or, I'm like, we do not need $1 billion.
No one needs $1 billion.
And she's like, but then we could donate. I'm like, okay, fine. If you want to give it away, that's fine. But yeah, we need enough to have no stress, less stress,
Yeah.
and provide. And yeah, I mean, well, look what happens when you're not ready for that type of wealth. Like, kind of having in your mind that, yeah, that prayer, that thought, like, may only abundance that I will do right with or well with come into my life.
We wanted abundance of like happiness and not abundance of money, right? It's like we often talk, me and Tiffany talk about this. It's like we get to do this
Mm-hmm.
jobs, right? Like, should I probably get a part-time job? Yes, but I'm not going to because I don't have the time.
I know. It's hard. I know. I'm like, am I doing enough? And it never feels like it's enough. But the thought of not doing it is like, there's no way.
No,
There's no way.
not.
Right.
I'm ungovernable at this point. I cannot have a boss.
I mean, even to keep this alive, if I had to have a part time thing, eventually, or if that happened, I would do it, but I'm not going to close my own, my little business.
Oh,
No, no.
sure.
Just going to make it grow, make it work.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just the beginning. When did you guys open?
We opened October of 23.
Oh my gosh, that's so
So
cool.
it's been a year and a half.
That's wild. Yeah, and at the end of July, it'll be 2 years for me, and
Mm,
I can't believe it's already almost 2 years.
congratulations.
Thank you. Learning experience, but every time I walk into the space, I'm just like, hi, I love you.
Oh my God, it's the best feeling.
I know.
That's how I feel every day that I never like dread going into that space.
Right.
Oh, I have to do blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, all right, today I've got to do, here's my list.
Right.
Never a bummer. It's just like, and Tiffany and I work really well together. We complement each other really well.
I love her. She's so funny.
So funny. And like it's just worked out really well. Like the things I kind of have a lack, she has in spades.
Mm,
And way around, and we've divvied up the labor really well, and it works, and we communicate, and it's great.
that's awesome. I do notice in your chart. Oh, is this right now? So I bring in the asteroids, and this is Pallas Athena,
Okay.
this little one straight across from your moon. It happens to be conjunct your natal. Pallas Athena is conjunct your natal Pallas Athena right now.
Okay.
Um, your natal Pallas Athena is opposed to your moon. So this just might. So Pallas Athena is the goddess of intellect. She's also a warrior. So she's the goddess of like intellect, logic, figuring it out, rationality. Opposed to your moon, moon is emotion, instinct, So this tension between these two is kind of a great aspect because it helps you balance them, the extreme of one and the other. You can move forward with intelligent emotion as well. So that might be brought up right now since she's right on there. Also, so Pluto, have you learned a little bit about Pluto at all?
No.
So Pluto is the god of the underworld, Hades. Pluto also means like plutocracy, so great wealth, but also the like being the god of the underworld, it's the transformation from death, rebirth back to life. So sometimes it can be, it's just this really powerful planet. You might have run into that having it natally in your third, the house of siblings. But in your seventh house, it can just emphasize transformation in how you partner. So it's kind of your closest long-term committed partnerships and bringing up power struggles or how you create together new life. So it travels through. It's going to be there till like 2044. So it takes a long time to go through a house. So it won't be aspecting your moon or ascendant until a long time from now.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, just, it's one of those strong planets that can transform somebody. It's squaring my sun right now, and I'm more seeing it as just kind of trying to define myself as a person out in the world, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can bring up power struggles, it can bring up transformation, it can bring up themes of wealth and or loss in rebirth. So it's a heavy planet, and it's so small, but it's very powerful at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, is there anything else that you're curious about, or?
No, I mean, I feel like we've talked a little bit about things that are coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then things in the now,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't super love delving into the past.
Yeah. Yep.
Find that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what do I have to look forward to?
Well, I think that, just Jupiter going into your 12th house is kind of a cool transit as well. Mars is moving through your ascendant, so or your first house. So I would try and harness that energy,
Mhm.
direct it towards, you just might feel more energized, and we're going into spring right now, which is great.
Be nice.
Yeah. So yeah, just try and harness that energy. It'll be speeding up as it goes through. It will cross over your ascendant right around here. You might start feeling it in right around when Jupiter gets into Cancer.
Hey,
So yeah, just be careful of flames and sharp objects right around those days.
okay.
It's an inflammatory planet, so if you get a rash or something, don't be surprised.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, I can happen. But yeah, I mean, the sun up here going through these two houses next couple months. I mean, this is going to shine a light on your professional areas and your networks. So it should be an active time. Um, yeah, we've
We'll
got Mercury heading through.
up and get some like interesting things coming through because summer is normally, a slower time for
Mm,
yarn stores in general. So we tend to, last summer, which was our first summer, we just kind of wanted to like collect data and see what was going to look like. So we, know that we want to do more like community focused events, gatherings, and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
maybe focus on that.
Yeah, maybe brainstorming. Yeah, you got Venus going into Taurus in June as well. I feel like June's going to be hopefully a great, time for everyone.
Yeah.
Venus rules Taurus right at the top of your chart too, in your chart of career. So yeah, it should be some cool things happening. It's Venus and Jupiter are the benefics, so they're like the giving planets. So we love them. We love
Okay.
all of the planets, but some are a
Yeah.
little more like teach you through fear and challenge.
The world has enough fear and challenge right now that's like, it's really hard, or I'm trying really hard to hang on to like my happiness and like my any part of my life where I feel like still, right? And like content. It's like really hang on to that because I just feel like everything feels so uncertain and so scary. Like a lot of my friends that are in retail are like having such a hard time, and I'm just trying really hard to like just hang on to my happiness and try not to worry about the things I can't control
Hmm.
and still feel all of the uncertainty, but like not let it, also really hang on to my happiness because otherwise, what's the point?
I mean, I see those themes continuing for you. And I love that you're aware of that too, because I mean, that ninth house is what's it all for house?
Yeah.
What does it all mean? Where's my faith? So dive into like the Neptunian realms, the higher mind. Saturn will be moving in, so you probably will feel some of those challenges. You also have Mars natally there along with your sun. So when Saturn and Neptune will hit together on your Mars there. So, I mean, it might feel intense. When is that conjunction? Okay, so 1 degree. They'll be pretty close to. Okay. Okay, so they conjunct at 1 degree and your Mars is at. So this is in August, so in the summer. Um, they'll be kind of going back and forth here, right? In your ninth house. And your Mars rules your fourth house, which is home, ancestry, roots, your actual physical house. And then Mars also rules, so Mars rules Scorpio, and then also Aries. So Mars is in its own kind of domicile. So it might feel existential at that
Okay.
time. But yeah, I think hanging on to, or just, self examining and just knowing that you will have Jupiter in the 12th as a support. I do like that. And the sun will be in your first. So yeah, I think I would journal. I would like around that time, maybe
Watch
even.
and they get crunchy.
Yeah, yeah. And it seems like kind of, you know, on the mental side of things, like this, yeah, it'll be interesting. I would say, yeah, just take some time, make sure you're self-examining and writing and making time for yourself and maybe, yeah. Um,
Maybe come and see Cassandra and get.
get a facial, we'll do some. Yeah, yes. And that's also when Venus will be moving into your 12th as well, hanging out with Jupiter. So yeah, there's some supportive aspects and some like, how is this gonna hit Laura aspects? Yeah, I mean, I think since your sun is there and your Mars is there, you might kind of know how to, you'll know how to handle it. It'll might just kind of shine a light on some higher mind stuff. So yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. I like to also pull a card.
Oh, yes. Okay.
All right, let me stop sharing this. And so I did this for my friend who the last person I did an interview with. It's called the Herb Crafter's Tarot. It's a cool deck. It's really neat. But do you have any like specific question you would like to ask the Oracle?
Ask the Oracle. I just kind of want to see what this next year, like what should I be focusing on this next year? What should I, like now that I'm feeling a little more settled after opening the business, like I helped Aaron open 2 stores in 1 year. So
She
I
opened two.
I worked for over 2 years and then helped Aaron open 2 stores in 1 year and then opened my store. So it's been a lot of like these big pushes. And now like everything feels like in the next year, what is my life gonna look like, like not I guess financially, like what do I strive towards? Where do I go here?
Okay.
Right. Getting used to the stillness has been really great for me instead of like the rush and like the excitement of open doing things and always being in these big fluxes. Like I've really enjoyed kind of being in the moment and being settled, but then also like what does that look like in the next year? Like what is it that I should be sort of focusing on if this work out feels settled?
Awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab a surface really quick. All right, so Laura's professional focus for the next year, for the best outcome. Some words of advice. All right, drawing this one for you. The High Priestess, Mugwort.
Okay.
So that's a major arcana card. I like to kind of just examine the cards sometimes as well, but it looks like little vials of seeds, a little pouch with the moon and stars, a little magical
It is a little witchy.
pouch. Oh, yes, I love it. Where did I put my book? Here it is. So I'm just going to read the description for you. This is a really cool card. All right. The High Priestess, Mugwort. Follow the fragrance of mystery. Awaken ancient memory. Divine messages in dreams and visions. Jupiter going into your 12th.
Yep.
An unfinished mugwort dream pillow of stars and moons lies on a blue silk cloth. The thread, still attached to the needle, loops around curled leaves. A small scroll tied with satin ribbon is tucked inside. 3 rose hips split open, revealing their seeds near vials of copal and storax resin. The moon phase pendant is draped across the table. The mystery summons the awakening one. Answer the call. Known for its aromatic leaves, mugwort enhances dreams and strengthens intuition. Just as the bitter taste of the tea is hard to swallow, what is revealed may be unpleasant. Healing is sure to come once your visions are acknowledged. The silver leaves of mugwort easily hide the plant from all but the best foragers. This is a secret between you and the dream time. You need not share. Crafting with the High Priestess. To follow the fragrance of mystery, seek your native mugwort in the wild. So I think that can be found around here. Just go foraging.
Okay.
Make a dream pillow with mugwort tucked inside to invite lucid dreaming. Burn mugwort incense before a journaling session to decipher messages in dreams and visions. That's very Neptune in the ninth house.
Oh my,
And you got to
okay.
embrace your witchy side.
I'm into this. Love it.
Love it. I'll send you a little screenshot of that card in the description too.
I love it.
I love you.
This was so great. Thank you for thank you so much.
So nice talking to you. We're gonna hang out soon, and I might join that book club if you start it. I know Tiffany's like
let's see the girls be awkward preteens together.
it's happening.
That is for real happening. I know. I was like the conjunction of puberty with my perimenopause is really like some.
I know, our poor husbands.
I don't know, man. Well, thank you. It was a joy.
If you are interested in hearing more of these conversations, like and subscribe. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.